Every woman has patterns, little games she plays to see what kind of man she's dealing with. Most guys don't even notice them. They fall into the same traps, give the same reactions, and prove her point without realizing it. But then there's the Sigma male. Something about the way he moves, the way he reacts, completely disrupts the script. He doesn't play into the obvious setups. He doesn't give the responses she's already prepared for. And that's when frustration kicks in, because her usual tricks suddenly stop working. That's why women find this type of man so magnetic, and at the same time, so hard to figure out. He exposes the game by refusing to play it. And once she realizes she can't control the script, she raises the stakes, setting traps that are sharper, more personal, and harder to ignore. What looks like a test of loyalty, a harmless tease, or just female intuition, often hides a deeper motive, to see if she can pull him off balance just once. Because if she succeeds, he's just another man. But if she fails, that's when she feels something she never expected. Here are 7 traps women use on Sigma males, and why they almost always backfire. 1. They try to cage his independence. Women often test men by seeing how much freedom they're willing to give up. Psychologists like Jack Brem explained this decades ago with the theory of reactance. The more you restrict someone's choices, the stronger their desire to break free. Most men accept the trade without noticing. They adjust their routines, their priorities, even their ambitions, just to keep the peace. But this is where the Sigma male breaks the pattern. Independence isn't something he negotiates away. It's the ground he stands on. That's why attempts to cage him rarely end the way women expect. Instead of creating closeness, the pressure flips the script. The more she pushes, the more distance he feels. Don't get it twisted. Sigma males don't shy away from commitment. They don't run from serious relationships, and they don't fear loyalty. What they reject is control disguised as love. When a woman tests them by deliberately boxing them in, deciding where they should be, how they should act, or what they should sacrifice, that's when resistance rises. Not because they don't care, but because they can feel the difference between real connection and a power game. As the philosopher John Stuart Mill once wrote, "Genuine worth cannot flourish under constraint." That's the paradox with Sigma males. The very effort to control them guarantees the opposite result. She expects more security, but what she gets is quiet resistance, the kind that no charm or persuasion can undo once it's set in motion. 2. They vanish to see if he'll chase. Disappearing is one of the oldest tricks in the book. A woman pulls back, fewer calls, slower replies, maybe even a sudden cold shoulder, all to see if the man will rush in to close the gap. For most guys, it works. Panic kicks in. They double text, over-explain, or show up trying to win back attention. That reaction confirms exactly what she wanted to know. She has control. But with Sigma males, the story shifts. When the distance grows, they don't see it as a signal to chase. They take it at face value. If someone is pulling away, they let the space breathe. Not because they don't care, but because they refuse to beg for closeness that isn't freely given. This is where things flip. The silence she expected to be filled with chasing is met with calm. No long messages, no desperate gestures, no race to fix it. Instead, he continues on, steady as ever. And that's the trap. The very move that makes most men reveal neediness backfires on the Sigma. His lack of reaction doesn't come from indifference. It comes from knowing that real connection doesn't need constant chasing. The longer the silence lasts, the clearer it becomes. The game didn't expose his weakness, it exposed hers. 3. They tempt him to betray himself. The easiest way to test a man is temptation. A woman knows the effect of leaning in a little too close, brushing her hand against his, or showing up dressed in a way that pulls every eye in the room. Add in the timing. Maybe when he's stressed, tired, or craving some comfort. And most men don't even think twice. They take the shortcut, enjoy the moment, and deal with the fallout later. Sigma males feel that same pull. They notice beauty, charm, and attention just like anyone else. But here's where things shift. Instead of running with the first wave of desire, something in them slows down. They ask themselves what's really on the line, because for them, temptation isn't just about attraction. It's about leverage. Once you take the bait, someone else is holding the strings. That pause changes everything. It doesn't mean they don't enjoy the moment or feel the heat of it. They do. But they've learned the hard way that the sweetest offers often come with the sharpest hooks. And women sense this difference. When the usual tricks don't get the instant reaction, the test escalates. She wonders if she can push harder, get past his restraint, and prove he's just like the rest. And that's where the tension starts to burn on both sides. 4. They twist his honesty to corner him. Honesty sounds simple, but it often gets turned against the man who dares to use it. Women sometimes test by asking questions they don't really want the full answer to. Do you like her outfit? Or, are you happy with this? Most men play it safe. They bend the truth, give half answers, and avoid the sting. It keeps things smooth in the moment, but it plants small cracks in trust. Sigma males don't play that way. Their honesty doesn't come with sugar on top, but it's never meant to cut either. It's calm, direct, and steady. And that's what makes it tricky. Because once the truth is out there, no one can hide behind excuses anymore. Mark Twain once said, "If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything." That's exactly how Sigmas move. They don't have to keep track of stories or cover-ups, because their words already match their thoughts. But this puts them under fire. Women may push back, twist their words, or press them to explain themselves again, all just to see if they'll soften up. And here's the irony. The more pressure applied, the clearer it becomes that his honesty isn't the problem. It's the mirror it holds up. And not everyone likes the reflection. 5. They mock his calm to make him snap. One of the fastest ways women test a man is by poking at his composure. Calmness is rare, and it irritates people who thrive on reactions. A woman might roll her eyes, throw in a sarcastic jab, or push a little harder in conversation just to see if the mask cracks. Most men take the bait. They raise their voice, defend themselves, or try to prove a point. And in that moment, the test is over. But when calm doesn't break, it creates tension she didn't expect. She starts to wonder if he's really unbothered, or if there's something deeper she can't reach. That's when the tests often get sharper, more personal, more provocative. Because if she can make him lose control, then he's predictable like everyone else. Anybody can become angry. That is easy, wrote Aristotle. But to be angry with the right person, and to the right degree, that is not easy. This is exactly where Sigma males draw the line. They're not made of stone. They feel irritation, frustration, even anger, but they don't hand it over on command. And here's the flip. His calm isn't coldness. It's control. It's the refusal to let someone else decide when he burns. That restraint annoys people, especially women who are used to stirring instant reactions. Because the moment calm holds under pressure, the test flips back on her. And now she's the one exposed. 6. They treat his silence like weakness. In a world where people talk just to fill the air, silence feels threatening. When a Sigma male stays quiet, women often read into it. They wonder if he's hiding something, if he's secretly judging, or if he simply doesn't care. That doubt can turn into a test, pushing him with questions, pressing him to explain, or even accusing him of arrogance. Most men, under that pressure, crack. They rush to fill the gap with words, eager to prove they're present, attentive, and safe. But Sigma males don't see silence as absence. For them, it's focus, it's listening, it's saving words for when they matter. And this is where the tension builds. The more he holds his ground, the more uncomfortable it makes her. She can't place him in the usual categories. He's not detached, but he's not performing either. That space between what she expects and what he actually gives is what drives the test further. Mark Twain once said, "The right word may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause." That's the paradox of the Sigma male's silence. What looks like weakness is often the strongest move in the room. Instead of proving him small, her test ends up revealing how much weight his quiet actually carries. 7. They beg for praise he never gives. Compliments are the easiest way to soften most men. A little admiration, a quick boost to the ego, and suddenly their guard drops. Women know this. That's why flattery and fishing for praise are common tests. She might highlight her looks, her achievements, or simply ask for reassurance, not out of insecurity, but to measure how easily she can pull him in. Most men respond instantly. They hand out validation without thinking, hoping it earns them closeness or affection. A Sigma, though, doesn't hand out words just to fill silence. If he doesn't feel it, he won't say it, especially when the praise feels forced or over the top. That's what makes the difference. Praise, when it leaves their mouth, has to mean something. It can't be forced, it can't be begged out, and it can't be traded like a currency. This restraint often frustrates women. At first, they think he's just being cold. But over time, they notice something else. When he does give recognition, it lands differently. It's sharper, heavier, and carries more value precisely because it's rare. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once wrote, "The man who does not value himself cannot value anything or anyone." Sigma males live by the flip side of that truth. Because they know their own worth, their praise becomes weighty. And that's why these tests backfire. The woman who tries to squeeze validation out of him doesn't get cheap approval. Instead, she discovers that when it finally comes, it's the kind of praise you can't forget. Because it wasn't given, it was earned.